does not survive without evolution. Ask any missionary. Brother, are there one of these for me here? Does that matter? Doesn't matter? Okay. The Bible says if you give a cup of cold water in the name of a disciple, you know, you get something, I don't know, Twinkies or... Missionaries in China reported that when the communists took over China in 1949, the first thing they came into the schools and did was teach evolution, not communism. They taught evolution. Interesting. Karl Marx tried to dedicate his book to Charles Darwin. Darwin said, "Oh, please don't do that. You're probably right. These theories go together, but, you know, my wife will get upset, okay?" Dedicated to Charles Darwin from a sincere admirer, it says in the upper right-hand corner, from Karl Marx. Karl Marx had 6 children. 3 died of starvation in infancy. The guy never worked a day in his life, lazy slob. 2 others committed suicide. When he died, only 6 people attended his funeral. But Karl Marx's philosophy of communism now dominates about 35% of the planet. And if you think they took down the Berlin Wall because communism is dead, you're mistaken. They no longer have to keep the wall there to keep the communists in, because now it's already spread around the rest of the country, and so they don't need the wall anymore. Karl Marx gave 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto, and there they are right there. We could talk all day about abolish private property, everybody's own vine, his own system. The Bible has a lot to say about this. We're going to run out of time here. The evolution philosophy is the foundation for Nazism. Mussolini thought the Italians were a superior species. Hitler thought the Germans were the superior species. So they got together and said, well, we'll work together first and take over the world, and then we'll fight over who's really superior. Hitler thought the Germans were the superior race. He tried to make Germany conform to the evolution theory. And we could spend all day on Hitler, and I cover a lot of this on video 5. But Hitler said in his book, Mein Kampf, or this book, While 6 Million Died, they said, Hitler told in a speech, he said, if you want those Jews, I'll send them to you on luxury ships. Who wants them? Roosevelt refused to let the Jews come to America. They could have been rescued. Hitler said, no more than nature desires the mating of weaker with stronger individuals, even less does she desire the blending of a higher with a lower race. Who's a higher race, Adolf? He kept talking about the mingling of Aryan blood with lower peoples. Who's the lower people? Well, I found Hitler's hit list in I love reading about Hitler and love watching movies about World War II. My wife can tell you that. Hitler thought the blonde-haired, blue-eyed Norwegians were close to pure Aryan, the superior race. Did you get all that? The blonde-haired, blue-eyed Norwegian, Vorden står till I dag. Ja, sure you betcha. Oofda. Hey there, fella. And he thought the Germans were mostly Aryan. The Mediterraneans are slightly Aryan. Slavics are half Aryan, half ape. Orientals are slightly ape. Black Africans are mostly ape. And Jews are close to pure ape. That's the list Hitler was going off of. He wanted to kill the Jews to help humanity, to improve the world, you know, eliminate the inferiors. If he would have killed all the Jews, guess who would have been next? Hitler hated black people. Does anybody know where the Olympics were held in 1936? Berlin, Germany. Does anybody happen to know who won the most gold medals that year? Jesse Owens, the black American athlete. Hitler was so angry he walked out of the stadium and said, it's not fair to make my men race against this animal. One of the Jews who survived the Holocaust, a doctor in the concentration camp, said there's a difference between those who look upon their fellow human beings as common creatures of a common creator and those who look upon them as biologicals or chemicals. Well, we could spend all day on this one too, about Islam and how that ties in. But Hitler killed the Jews because he thought they were inferior. I've been to Germany twice. I read lots of books about Hitler just to keep my blood boiling. Hitler did what he did precisely because of his belief in evolution. I stood right there where Hitler's standing on that platform just a few months ago when I was over in Germany. That huge, huge place they made there with the granite stones they took out of the Flossburg concentration camp where I'd been an hour before that was made to make the people feel small and the cause feel huge. That's what they're doing with our youth today, by the way. Hitler knew how to get the young people excited about a cause. That would take a long time to get into all that. But it all goes back to evolution. Marvin Lutzer, do you know Marvin Lutzer from Moody Bible Institute? He's the president up there. He wrote this excellent book on how Hitler tried to hide behind the cross. He made people think he was a Christian. He was far from a Christian. Far cry. Here's a propaganda picture with a cross over his head as he walks out of the church. They had Nazi baptisms, Nazi altars. It was all tied into the idea that the German race is superior and deserves to rule the world because we have evolved farther. Well, Japanese thought they were superior too. Their doctors did studies and said, you know, Japanese people have less hair and they have less body odor, so that proves we've evolved further than the apes from the rest of the people. So we're superior and deserve to rule the world. Evolution is the philosophy of the New World Order, coming soon to a city near you. We'll cover much more on that in our college class, and we could spend 3 days on that one. But let's see. We're going to run out of time here. Just get our video number 5. Let's just tell you what we ought to do about it. I am convinced, after studying this for 30-some years, this evolution theory is not only dumb, it's dangerous. It's the most dangerous philosophy in the world, in my opinion. What should we do? We should do exactly what Jesus told us to do. Go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. Jesus grew up under Roman control. He didn't go around blowing up bridges and burning down tanks. He just said, hey, just one at a time, win people to the Lord. He made no attempt to change the Roman Empire. That's what we ought to be doing. Hosea said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Now, we got problems here. We need men and women of understanding, which is why we want to have the boot camp. Get some people in here, give them the basic training. Here's why it's important. Now get out and do something about it. Okay. Proverbs chapter 28 says, but by a man of understanding and knowledge, the state thereof shall be prolonged. I would like our country and our freedoms here to be prolonged so that I can have my grandkids and great-grandkids grow up and feel the freedoms that I felt as a kid. How many of you would like to see the state of America prolonged and see freedom extended for centuries? Okay. Here's what you ought to be doing. They said, take you wise men and understanding, known among the tribes. Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart, that I may discern between good and bad. That's quite a question, quite a request. Abigail was a woman of good understanding and beautiful. That don't hurt if you get both in one package, but he said, I sent for a man of understanding. By the good hand of our God upon us, they brought us a man of understanding. Somebody who understands what's going on. The children of Issachar were men that had understanding of the times to know what Israel ought to do. I think we need some people today that have understanding of what's happening, fully comprehend. I want the red pill. Okay, what's happening? Now, what do I do about it? I think it's time to get motivated, folks. We are rapidly running out of time. If you're going to do something for God, I recommend you start, like yesterday. Okay, here's the things I suggest. You need to realize God's in control. Don't get nervous. Get busy, but don't get nervous. He's in control. He's the potter, we're the clay. Let him do with you what he wants to do. Just relax. Lord, I'm yours. Do something with me. I think we should be wise as serpents and harmless as doves, like he told us already. We should be careful for nothing. The word careful means full of care. Oh, all nervous about things. No, don't be full of care. Okay? Pray for those in authority over us, just like he told us to do. We should obey his orders and preach the gospel. When's the last time you witnessed to somebody? When's the last time you had a convert baptized? When's the last time you gave out a gospel tract? We should be the salt of the earth. Salt does a lot of neat things. Salt preserves. Are you preserving your circle of influence? Salt irritates. If nobody's irritated at you, you're not a good Christian. Think about it. We should use your influence, man. This is America, the land of the free and the home of the slave. Here's your golden opportunity to use your influence and do something for God. Okay? We could be. Some of you ought to be getting on the school board and on this town council and on other positions of influence. Okay? You should teach the truth about creation. In Acts chapter 17, Paul used creation as the means of evangelism. 2 great sermons in the book of Acts. Peter preaching to the Jews in Acts